Hi. First of all, you chose the right track. Everyone that have left here, have stayed here. I hope that you can see the deck. Can you see the deck? So
Yes.
we don't have much time. I want to share with you some of our, I would call it, experience from the last several years in terms of resiliency within organization and within delivery in particular. And I would start, first of all, with a few words about Amdocs. I guess that most of you are familiar with this company, but this is, I would say, in a nutshell, Amdocs all around. $4.2 billion of revenue, operating in 85 countries with more than 350 customers all around. And as you can see, a lot is going on. It's a big global company, and I'm leading the global delivery, which we will talk about it in a minute. Few words about myself. I'm a former colonel in the Air Force. I retired and moved to Amdocs. I'm a computer graduate, so I enjoy software and developing. And here you can see a few of the things that I'm developing for my own in my own spare time. So I have a graduate, a BSc from the Technion, and an MSc in computer science from Tel Aviv University. And I have also an MBA from Kellogg Recanati. I enjoy reading books, and once before the COVID, I enjoyed traveling around the world. As you can see, I'm having a map of where I've been and what the location that I've stayed with. And I'm married with two children, two beautiful daughters. Talking about the global delivery. Our delivery mission, and this is what is global delivery in Amdocs. We are actually partnering with the leading providers in the communication, and we are digitally transforming their business. So we are taking their IT infrastructure and systems, and we are building new ones, actually, usually, or on top of the existing ones. So all the development activities that is being done within the telecom industry that is outsourced to Amdocs is actually being done by the by the global delivery of Amdocs. And our claim to fame is beyond the telecom industry, is that the IT industry expertise, and we are very much into business critical operation and experience, as well as computer and software development around the globe. And in a few words about Amdocs Global Delivery, you can see we have 5,500 employees, and actually it is constantly changing, but this is pretty much between that and to 6,000 around the globe. We are running around at least 60 projects in parallel. 15 of them are full transformation of the entire IT, I would say, suite of telecom industry. You can see here all the people, all the customers that we are currently running activities within, and almost to each and every one of them, we have also presence on site. So we have presence on site, and we are working with them. You can see a global coverage and the international perspective of the entire activities. And we are running 160 deployments in any 6 months. So it's almost in any given day, on the average, we have a deployment somewhere around the world to some of our customers. We are operating in 11 development centers, and you can see here the coverage here is a coverage around the globe, as you can see. So it's 20. I would not call it 24/7, but it's more like 24/6, because we have a full coverage of development work that is being done around the globe. We're actually taking the global perspective of Amdocs and delivery in particular for our advantage. So sometimes when people are closing the working day in the US, it just started in India, and then we are able to cycle the development and the code base all around, which is also something about resiliency, because we have also load and balances between the teams, and it is constantly evolving 24/6 of delivery work that is being conducted without night shifts most of the time. So when we are talking about building a resilient organization, we are looking on several aspects. And here we took it from several researchers around the world. I believe that this is a methodology that is based by Deloitte research. What do you need from an organization? You need to be prepared. You need to plan ahead and to be prepared. You need to be adaptable. And in order to be adaptable, you need to plan your adaptability labor, I would say, activities. You need to be collaborative because in a vast organization like this and in global environment with different culture, with different time zone, all around, you need to be collaborative between the teams and internally and up the ladder and down the ladder in this aspect in order to get the sense of understanding what's going on in the real ground and how to deal with that. You need to be trustworthy, both as a manager to your employees, but also the employees need to trust the system in this aspect, in several aspects. And last but not least, you need to be responsible both on your own people and doing, and also for the ecosystem, the environment, and even the sites and the local ecosystem and I would say industry that we are when we are operating in. And looking on those 5 pillars, we have come up with a scheme which is focused on processes, technology, and people. So I guess that people that are coming to this kind of session and this nice activity that Agile Spark is conducting may probably are very much familiar in processes and technology. Even though I will touch and talk about it a bit, I want to focus on the people aspect, because again, when you are managing a vast organization of 6,000 people all around the globe, it's all about the people. And we believe that this is the focus of that, and we will talk about all of it. So as you can see, it's all about the people. You can see a lot of pictures pre-COVID, most of them are pre-COVID, when we are getting all together, because we believe in the locality of our teams and sites on top of the global nature of the business. It's a very nice equilibrium that allows you to change and shift between the two as we go along. And when we are now working from home, the colleagues around the world that have been familiar with each other and know how to work together, and the teams that are familiar with the ins and outs of each of the team members, it is very much important in order to make it happen. In terms of people, so you can see here the list of things that we are doing. We are trying to empower the team, and I want to tackle all those 4 pillars. Even though there's a lot to cover, I want to touch each of those 4 pillars. Self-managed Scrum teams, I think that this is one of the things that are very important. And we are talking about it in the Agile way and in the DevOps way. We are talking about it a lot. But in terms of resiliency, and when we shifted all around to work from home, imagine it, 6,000 people that used to work in different hub, and we were promoting co-location and sitting together of Scrum teams, now working all from the homes, and now they need to be self-managed, and they need to manage themselves. The one main pillar I would say that we needed to change, the one main that we needed to change because of the COVID in terms of resiliency, is we invested much more work on automation of the infra and the DevOps engineering and all the infra and the environments. We actually come up with a landing page that allows you to open environments as you need. And we invested a lot in the infra, because back in the day when we are working from the offices, you can raise your hand and you can ask for some infra guy to join you and to assist you in what you are doing, because we had infra within the teams. But now, because everyone are working from home, you don't want to use calls and chats and whatever just for opening environment. So you need to invest in automation for the infra. So this is one of the lessons learned. We invested a lot of infra as a service, we call it, landing page that allow you to invest in, to generate environment and support from infra teams in order for the team and the individual within the Scrum team to operate as seamlessly as possible without any burden and operation. The second aspect of the self-managed team, and this is obviously we came up to the COVID and the pandemic issue around the globe pretty good, and we just needed to invest in the infra side of the house. The second aspect of it is the design to your future program, and it's not trivial that we are talking about the career path of the employee when we are talking about resiliency, because career path of the employee is also our, I would say, skill set of the entire organization. And the fact that we are promoting, and we promoted along the way a lot of the people to learn and to educate themselves on the cloud, on UI, on new things that actually are emerging and are of interest for them on the individual level. But the interesting part is that we try to capture it within our own system and our own knowledge. And the fact of the matter is that, for example, the shift in the nature of the development that we are conducting and the delivery work that we are conducting to our customer have changed because of the COVID. A lot of changes, for example, a lot of the telecom industry have shifted into self-service kind of thing. And if in the past you need to give a call to a help center or go to a physical shop, now a lot of the telecom industry vendors have shifted into self-service, that you can do everything from your own home. But for that, you need support from the system. So there was a big shift of the telecom industry, I would say, delivery work from backend into the front end and the UI. And the fact that we invested in the design of future programs to our employee allow us to shift people from back-end work into front-end relatively seamlessly, because the people were there. They already invested by themselves the training and the learning, and we are maintaining it as we go along. Last but not last, but the third aspect is the manager elevation program. At the end of the day, you have Scrum teams, and they are investing in their own skill set to become relevant to the future. But you need also managers in order to, that oversight the overall, I would say, self-managed Scrum teams. And for that, you need different types of managers. You don't need a detailed design that someone is going throughout the open space and looking what is going on with the Scrum teams. You need to elevate your managers in order for them to become, I would say, more trustworthy and more trusting and leading their teams. Give them some level of flexibility. And usually when we are talking about engineers like myself that are growing from becoming a developer to team lead, and then from a dev manager, and actually to the delivery lead or something like that, because of the level of knowledge and familiarity with the details, then you are facing a lot of challenges of trust and going to the details and letting the Scrum teams lead themselves. And this is something that we invested in, because if you don't have the right ecosystem of managers and mindset of managers, the old self-management Scrum teams can get lost. And we invested a lot in this, both on the internal, how you are managing your own team, but also how you are managing the outside, the scoping thing with the customer, how you are managing even the management of Amdocs that are required to get some kind of feedback now. Everyone are working from home, how we can know that everything is working and stuff like that. So we invested a lot in the manager in order for them to elevate themselves into a more, I would say, the appropriate mindset of resiliency and trustworthy with the team. Last but not least, and honestly, this is something that I think that we have an area to grow in, is the non-vertical improvements. Because self-managed Scrum teams, it means that there is a lot of innovation going on. You can do the math, 5,500 employees, it's pretty much 5,000 Scrum teams that are self-managed and working all around the globe. They have a lot of investment, a lot of automation, a lot of good ideas how to make their life better and how they can improve their productivity as we go along. The challenge is to take it from this individual Scrum teams and to the global level. So it's not from top down, but bottom up, I would say, improvement change. And in this, we are investing a lot on this, and we are trying to extract good ideas and to promote good innovation from all around, from the bottom up. I believe that we have much more to grow in this. And this is something that is very challenging in an organization, in global organization, and specifically when we are talking about nowadays, when resiliency and working from home and everything is in place and a crisis mode all around the globe. Another aspect of people is, again, investing in the people. I believe a lot in the CSR, in community service, and we are investing in a lot, even as we speak, even when we are operating from home. We found our channels in order to invest in the community. Again, we are trying to do things on the global level, but mainly focusing on the local areas and the local places where our employees are working. You can see that we are donating food. We back at the beginning of the COVID, we invested in printing protective masks. We gave old laptops to needed students around the world. So we invested a lot in this aspect because I believe that at the end of the day, people are connected to something that is bigger, and we want to make the life of the entire world, I would say, better, and not just through doing business, but also by doing direct give back to the community, and we are investing on this a lot. I think that it is very much important to the people to be appreciate their workplace and what they are doing. They are not just doing work. In terms of processes, so again, you're probably familiar, and the Agile Spark will have a lot of discussion about the extreme agility, how we are doing the short cycle and how we are improving all the way. I want to touch two aspects of us in this aspect. First is the DevOps methodology. We build a maturity model because we are running more than 60 projects altogether. We build a maturity model that says in different pillars, as you can see here, the design-led approach, how we are operating in smaller iteration, how we are breaking the silo and building a one DevOps team, and last but not least, the automation and technology attached to that. And we gave grades to each and every of our projects in particular. And what's interesting in that, we gave grade where are we standing now? What are our targets for the future? What are the targets for the future? This is the second, and we share that with the customer because we believe that the customer themselves has a lot of interest of moving to the next level. So we share with them both the DevOps model, maturity model of us, and also their own, I would say, grades and scores and where we want to be, because some of the journey, and we all know that agility and DevOps altogether is a journey. It has to be with the customer alongside, and they need to change themselves part of the time. And so they were eager to say, hey, and whenever I was presenting it to a customer, said, what is my grade? I said, good question. And I presented his score, and I said, this is why you are being dragged, because you are doing scoping in some different way than what we would like. You are doing low-level design in very early in the stage, so you will have to revisit it. And we gave them a list of things that to improve, again, in a joint journey. And I think that this is it's proved very efficient. Along the course of time, by the way, we actually improved the model, and now we are talking about maturity model, the DevOps maturity model 2.0, because we wanted to take it to the next level, because we reached quite a significant heights in the previous model. The second aspect, and again, fully transparent to the customer, is the data-driven decision making. We have an automated set of tools and models that are and KPIs that are being generated out of the Jira, out of our framework of working, and I can see each and every account and to see what is the productivity, what is the velocity and the planned velocity of it, how we are doing in terms of quality, and it is shared across all customers. Each customer can see its own project and how we are doing and how we are operating in terms of the agile. And we are shifting and changing a bit some of the KPIs based on the needs that we are doing, backlog maturity with the scoping or whatever. So we are building a set of KPIs. It's automatically being generated from the Jira, and it is openly and visible to everyone. By the way, you can see some of the trends. So we are always keeping the average. So each and every delivery lead or development manager or customer can see how he's doing relative to the average of the other accounts. And this, so we are taking the scale as something that we can learn out of it. And we are trying to learn between the accounts and hey, I'm below the average. Let's see what others are doing here. Oh, I'm above the average. I want to share my perspective on this to others. So those are the two tips that I would say. That first of all, build your decision by data driven, that is are all together being generated full-fledged automatically from the ground up. No assessment of managers and I would say individual data entry. Everything needs to go to flood from up above. When we move to working from home, and I know that I'm talking about resiliency, and we move to, again, imagine it from 11, pretty much 11 development centers, we move to 5,500 development centers altogether, each on its own home. And we actually come up with this notion of what we are doing. So we did the leadership preparation, as I mentioned, the remote procedures and guidelines, how we are working, how you are doing stand-up meeting. So we announced a new methodology of working from home. You are doing stand-up meeting virtually, which is, it wasn't accustomed before that because our Scrum were co-located. How we are measuring the progress, as I said, we had it from the system, and how we are getting ongoing feedback, both from the team, but also from the system. What are the showstoppers, how we can open bottlenecks and everything. On the other aspect, we invested a lot on remote scoping, how we are doing remote scoping, and we come up with a scheme for that and fully fledged it and announce it all around. And we evolve it as we go along, getting back feedback loops from the team. The same goes to development, to deployment. Imagine we zero travel. No one is able to travel to a site, but we need to deploy and to go live. As I said, from the COVID up until now, we are talking about almost, I believe, 400 deployment that we conduct fully remotely. Everyone are working from home, 400 deployment worldwide, which is very tough. And as the pandemic continues, we have new challenges, which are the other two. Remote onboarding, because we are recruiting, we are growing as a business. Actually, we are growing on a year by over year, both Amdocs as a whole and global delivery in particular, actually in double-digit numbers year over year in the last 4 years or so. So we need to onboard people from home, which is challenging. We are sending them the laptop, how you are training them, learning them, getting to know them, and how we are building a team along with people that didn't manage to see each other face to face for a long term. Even in my senior management, I have several VPs that I didn't manage to see them for the last year or so, and or I never saw them face to face. Even because even in VPs there are changes over the course of a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
So those are the
challenges. We need to start wrapping up. Just to
yes. I will not go into the technology. I will wrap up with the one slide which before going to the questions. This is a slide of what are we doing. As you can see, We did a significant journey of increase in terms of deployment and becoming more agile. We are increasing, most of my workforce is billable. So this is, it means that we also, I'm not able to share with you financials of the delivery, but you can imagine that everyone here are billable. So this is the growth that we had steadily in the workforce. The productivity of the individual, we improve it significantly. This is in the last, as you can see, from Q2 20. Q2 20 means that we are talking about just before the pandemic, and now actually we improve our productivity. Even employee satisfaction, as you can see, this is within the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic, to be honest. Even the employee satisfaction actually improved, quality and learning statistics, I mentioned that. So this is my claim to fame about the result that we are in terms of building a resilient organization that can face everything. I will open it for questions now.
Great, Yariv, thank you so much. It was really fascinating, and you know, knowing Amdocs is such a really successful and complex organization. It's really great to get more insights as to how you're doing this remotely in this really crazy period which has been going on and on. So we don't really have much time for questions. I will just let's take just one, and then again I remind everyone you're all welcome to join Yariv in the Zoom room, which is in your chat, and you can have a more detailed conversation. But just one question. So question about the metrics, the KPIs you were showing on the dashboard. So how do you measure productivity, just very briefly? And then, you know, everybody who's more interested in that can also join you in that room. Thanks.
So productivity we are measuring by the user story. So we enjoy the overall, we enjoy the economy of scale because we have a big install base. So we have the average, I would call it man hour or man days or man months per user story. So we know what is the average or the median, I would say, user story. And we are measuring the productivity by how many user stories are being done by the team. And because it is the size of the user story is being decided by the solution team rather than the development, so it is, I would say, well-balanced equilibrium, but we are checking it to see that over the course of time, what is the average user story and how it is changing over time. But overall, we are measuring the amount of user story that are being certified for any given time period or the investment of people or time per user story. That is one question.
Great.
Another question I can see if we have time is about the travel, how we managed to do travel without travel. So, yes, it is very tough. We identified and actually we identified what are the pivotal aspect and what we are trying to do. Yes, you cannot do zero travel altogether in the long run, but based on the customer relationship that we already managed to evolve, we are able to do everything from remotely. There are some activities like building a site, building the environment, like scoping, that you prefer to do face-to-face. And we are doing that over bridges and over Zoom. But we prefer to do it face-to-face, but we handle it as it was. It took us a bit more time. So we were actually less effective on this. We saw that it takes more time to do it over the Zoom rather than face-to-face.
Yeah.
But talking about net time, so it was working.
Yeah, sure. For sure, it's not the same, right? There's some difference, but it's great that you were able to overcome that. Okay, thank you so much, Yariv. It was really a pleasure to host you here.